Alright then guys, welcome to the video, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to do a couple of hopefully simple, fingers crossed, hopefully simple mods to the S2000, which one, haven't cost me any money because they're both recycled from the Civic, and two, are going to make it a bit more my own, I guess. First up, we're going to be doing a head unit. Actually, this head unit I've got, I bought for my Astra, which I guess pretty much all of you had no idea I even had before the Civic, and then I moved it into the EP3 when I got that. When I swapped the double din into that, I obviously took this out and I've had this on the shelf ever since. So, conveniently, because it's a single din, it's going to fit into the standard spot where the standard radio is currently in the S2000. It's got the mic and everything as well. I've also got this wiring harness from Dynamic Sounds, so shout out to Cowabunga Car Diaries because I watched their video on doing this, and this little wiring harness in here is basically going to mean I'm able to use the volume controls and everything on the right hand side of the steering wheel as if it was the OEM system, which will be lovely. It's not essential that you get this, but I just thought if I haven't spent any money on this stuff, I might as well buy something for it and get this to be able to use those controls, because that'd be nice whilst driving around. I think the first job that we'll get onto, because it's going to be really easy, I'm bringing back the neochrome gear knob from the EP3. I actually think this is going to look way better in here than it did in there, because I guess the colours make a lot more sense. So let's get in the car and let's get changing some stuff over. Okay, so let's do this gear knob because this should be relatively easy. I have checked already, the standard nut is a 14mm, so you're going to need a 14mm spanner to get the original gear knob off, and then actually the one that comes with the Blox one that I have, I don't know if this is the same with other brands as well, this nut is actually 15mm, and this should just come straight off. I'm hoping it's not too difficult. Yeah, nice. To be fair, this one isn't in bad condition. I'm not the biggest fan of the leather wrap. That was super easy. Hopefully this also just comes straight off. That it does. Wonderful news. Blox one goes back on. That's as far as that goes, apparently. There we go. That's sick, because that is so easy. I mean, the weight is pretty different. This is still kind of heavy. It's mostly metal, so it's not like it's a massive weight difference, but it just feels a lot nicer in the hand than this bit of leather on the side of this thing. That is job number one done. So now we're going to move on to trying to get this panel out, which I'm hoping let's just pop out, but I'm very scared. I'm going to try and get this thing off. I won't bore you with how I'm going to do this because I don't actually know how I'm going to do this yet. So I'm going to get back to you once I've been able to pop this bit off. Okay guys, I managed to get it off. It does just come out. It's a bit mangled on one side now. So as you can see, there's a clip here. You can see where my tool was attacking this thing. So this clip here was the one that was being really tough. And then actually once this one popped, I managed to be able to get this side off pretty easily. And now we expose 4 Phillips head screws that should just allow this whole piece to come out now. So I'm hoping it should be just as simple as unscrewing those. Okay, if I've unscrewed the right ones, this should slide out. Oh, hey, unplug everything. OEM piece is out. Cool, so just thought I'd show you this Dynamic Sounds kit. So this piece you would usually need anyway to convert just any head unit into whatever car you're going into, but it also comes with this little module here which plugs into the back of the head unit and then goes into this cable here to basically make the buttons work on the side of the thing. Okay, excuse the towel, it was just the easiest thing to do whilst I was next to the car. So in theory this should be pretty simple. This bit plugs in there and then it does come with the instructions. I had to take this cage piece off because looking at the other head unit, it looks like this cage would impede where the mounting points for mounting it into the car go. So I've taken this bit off and hopefully the front fascia plate will still fit. Not the end of the world if it doesn't. This just plugs in the pins this side. This piece plugs in this side. And then I believe this bit plugs, so where you'll have your mic input, which is another thing I need to run, you'll have a mic input and you will also have another port, hopefully. This does just go straight in there like that. That's literally it. This thing is now actually completely ready to go in. So the other thing as well to note is that the colours on here, these 3 colours, depending on what head unit you've got, will depend on which ones need to be pinned. So this is a Pioneer head unit, I think. Yep, Pioneer head unit. So I need all of them pinned, which I think they are. So I'm hoping that means that this does just work. I know nothing about wiring, so I could be making that up, but I guess we'll find when we plug it in and do a test whether I have actually just said the right thing or not. So what I'm going to do is plug this into the car, see if it registers it and the volume controls work and all that kind of stuff. So let's get this in the car and see if what I've just done actually works or whether I need to change something. Yeah, I haven't mounted the brackets on the side yet just because I wanted to make sure this is actually going to work. So I'm going to plug it in. I realised that having a cable for my phone would also be a useful test, so that's in enough. So I'm hoping now if we key on, set up, yes, okay, so this is a good sign. English, all right, let's try the radio. Oh my Jesus. Wow, no idea what language that is. Phone's charging, that's a good sign. I should probably not play copyright music. If this works, oh my God, the controls work. The only button that doesn't seem to work is the mute button. And I can press that and it changes the mode. I mean, the mute button doesn't work. I don't know if that's a wiring thing, but that's something I'm probably never gonna need to use anyway. I'll just turn it down if I'm not using it. Let's get the mounting points off of the original and mount this thing back in the car. Just so you guys can see what I'm doing, these basically need to come off. So conveniently, they're also marked left and right. So obviously this is the left side of the head unit. So I'm gonna whip these off and literally just screw them onto the other head unit. Then that means we can mount it back in the car. So I'm gonna whip these off and get them on. Right, that ended up being way more of a mission than I thought. First of all, these screws were potentially the tightest screws I've ever had to undo. It was a two-person job just to crack them to get them to go. Turns out that these screws don't actually then fit into the new head unit, which is very annoying. The upside to, I guess, recycling is I had two screws from the Civic, which I ended up not needing, so I just screwed them into the side of the other head unit, which fit perfectly, and it actually turns out that the way this lines up on the new one means it does lock down just on one screw, so I'm very lucky, so I'll show you that. So as you can see, it's only in one, not in two, but this doesn't even twist. Like, it's actually in there pretty solid. So now I'm going to plug the mic in and run that somewhere. So I don't really know where that's going to run yet. I'm going to do that and then I'll get back to you when that's done. So I've run the mic, I ran it under here, and then it's come up the side here, up the side of the door trim, hidden the cable in there, and the mic pops up just here. These are for the immobilizer, I think. I'm not totally sure, but that makes sense. It doesn't really have anywhere to clip onto. The S2000 A-pillar bars are a solid plastic, so I don't think anything's going to tuck behind them to mount it. So this is the best I can come up with. The next job is actually to screw this thing back in because everything seems to be working. This should quite literally just be the reverse of what I have done to take it out. So I do have the fascia plate. I'm not sure whether it does actually fit. Oh, that'll look all right. Nice. So this, I think, is actually ready to be pushed back in. I wonder if I can do it one-handed. I can indeed. And hopefully this still closes. Oh, so do that and boom. Look at that. So to break it down, this could be a me problem, just me not understanding the wiring, so please let me know down below. But basically, the volume buttons, they work perfectly. The mute button does nothing. The channel button does search when you're on radio and does skip track when you're on Bluetooth audio or with the phone plugged in via the hard wire. And this changes the mode that you're on. So I'm pretty sure that is everything working apart from the mute button, but I'm very rarely going to use the mute button anyway, so that doesn't bother me too much. I can just turn it down with this. I'm going to do a test to make sure it's working now that it's all back in. And there it is, working perfectly fine. And I'll show you this going up. So gotta be quick. That's all you're going to get because I don't want to get copyrighted. We have this fully installed and we have the gear knob fully installed. Let's put that back in neutral and hide that away like that. Boom, it's like we never did anything. So good. And there we go, guys. That was, I guess, an easy install, but the first mods on the S2000. Fun fact, actually, the gear knob was the first mod I ever did to the Civic. So pretty cool to be able to continue that on with the S2000. Definitely looks way better in this car than it did in that. Yeah, super happy with how everything's turned out and how it's all fit back together and sort of like OEM Plus sort of feel on the interior now. But what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description to that cable connector kit because that is a very useful wiring harness for being able to get those controls to work. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. Leave some comments down below if I've done the right thing here or not. I'm not sure, but let me know down below either way. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.